Donte Divincenzo has spoken out on rumors alleging that he wanted to get traded off the New York Knicks since they didn't have a starting role for him, and this happened right after the Knicks traded Divincenzo and Julius Randle for Karl Anthony Towns, and we're going to break down Divincenzo's response. What's up, guys? Welcome back to Knicks Digest. It's Chris here, and we're going to jump right into the video because the New York Knicks obviously made that massive trade, sending Donte Divincenzo and Julius Randle away, along with Keita Bates-Diop, a bunch of non-guaranteed contracts such as Dwayne Washington Jr. and Charlie Brown and Daquan Jeffries. And now Donte Divincenzo has spoken out as there have been a bunch of rumors that essentially he kind of was okay with being traded, but he rebutted that today, which is kind of what has been coming out recently, that was probably false because of why would Divincenzo have wanted to get traded off the Knicks is really the only response. Now, Divincenzo himself said that obviously everyone wants to start coming off the season I had last year, but I also understand that there's different lineups and different combinations that teams will want to get to. I understand that. It's never a thing of, oh, we got McHale, I'm pissed off. I was super excited. Take the Villanova stuff out of it. I was super excited because we have a very good player coming back to the team, and you get OG Anunoby back. Now you're looking at, wow, we're going to be really good. There was never a conversation of my role, of his role being changed basically or getting diminished. He said there was never a role that his minutes would be diminished in, and that it was the outside assumption of that's what happened, and then everyone ran with it. I mean, are we really that surprised that Donte Divincenzo didn't actually want to leave? He had the best season of his career objectively, became this guy who was loved in New York even before he made that game-winning shot in Game 2 against the Philadelphia 76ers in the Garden in a game where a couple seconds earlier, it was about to be a 1-1 series going back to Philadelphia, which definitely would have changed things in the momentum that the Knicks were able to grab because of that. Before that, everyone already loved Donte Divincenzo, who had the most threes in a single season with the Knicks, and truly one of the great one-season Knicks of all time. Now, yeah, he would not have started. He would have came off the bench, but he would have been the sixth man, most likely. Him and Josh Hart probably each would have gotten 24 minutes apiece with whoever they want as their backup big. Looks like it's going to be Precious Achiuwa being back there while Mitchell Robinson's out. And then also filling out the lineup with Landry Shamet, who maybe they wouldn't have even signed, or Cameron Payne, or Tyler Kolek, someone like that. There were ways sort of around Donte losing a ton of minutes. And I feel like everyone thinks that Divincenzo played so many minutes all season because of the heavy minutes that him, Brunson, and Hart had to play in the playoffs because every single person was injured. So essentially, I feel like everyone was reacting like Divincenzo was playing 10 million minutes per game. Remember, no one on the New York Knicks, and Brunson played the most minutes, no one on the New York Knicks played in the top 10 of minutes per game last season. So, first of all, that narrative that Tibbs overplays his guys is false. He literally had no other choice in the playoffs because they didn't trust the end of their bench, something the Knicks went out there and changed because they didn't trust the end of their bench. And given that problem is starting to occur again since Karl Anthony Towns trade, but they'll be able to fill it out. Huck Porty will get that deal. They'll have 14 guys. They're probably going to make an in-season trade, which will solidify the end of that bench again. But that's a different story for a different day. Essentially, Divincenzo would not have been losing too many minutes, and he would have been in a more effective role where he actually had more freedom to do whatever he wanted because he was going to be running as the sixth man. He's going to be the bench's lead scorer, probably him with OG Anunoby a lot, and it would have been McHale and Brunson and Julius on the court, and then sometimes him and McHale, and then they definitely run the Nova Knicks a bit just to try it out and see if it works, which it would have. But that's, again, different story, different day. Essentially, what happened is the Knicks wanted Karl Anthony Towns. That's what happened, and that's why Divincenzo got traded. There's no other reason for it. Now, Divincenzo put up 15 points per game last season, 15.5 points, shot 44% on corner threes. Great job getting offensive rebounds and just rebounds in general, putting up 4 rebounds as a 6'4 guard. He's not Josh Hart. But also shooting 44% from the field, 40% from 3. Being this elite catch-and-shoot player who's also a very good defender, getting 1.3 steals per game. Divincenzo is going to do great on Minnesota. He absolutely is. He's the best shooter on the team. He's going to get so many opportunities to shine. Him and Anthony Edwards should be fun together. But the Knicks decided Mitch is injured, and that's not going to change for a while. We really need a center. We've really wanted Karl Anthony Towns for the last 4 years, or really since Leon Rose got here. Towns has been it's not like he was at the forefront of who they were going for, but Karl Anthony Towns has been a Knicks trade target since the day Leon Rose got hired to the Knicks. It's not that surprising that it happened, and it's not that surprising that Minnesota didn't want to do that draft night trade where it was proposed that the Knicks traded Julius and Mitch for Towns. That's not a good trade for Minnesota, because I still don't think this was a good trade for Minnesota, because I think Julius Randle's a great player. There's a great argument that Julius Randle is better than Karl Anthony Towns. He fits so horribly in Minnesota because there's just not a ton of shooting on that court. He's playing with Rudy Gobert, it makes it tough for people to drive sometimes. And Julius is a guy who is at his best when he's going downhill. He's one of the best players in the NBA at going downhill. Frankly, he's just one of the better players in the NBA. He's top 30, top 25, absolutely. Look at what he's done. Every single year that he's healthy, he's an all-star. Every single year that he's healthy all season, he's all-NBA recently. This is what's happened. He's great. He just doesn't fit as well in Minnesota. And now the Knicks decided we have to do something about this contract extension. So essentially, yeah, they moved him, and they moved Donte, and they moved a first-round pick, and Keita Bates-Diop and a bunch of guys on non-guaranteed contracts getting paid $1 over the minimum in a loophole so the Knicks could get the trade done. The Knicks were meticulous about this because they've wanted Karl Anthony Towns for a long time. They wanted him longer than they wanted Donte Divincenzo, and they believe that even though they gave up the best shooter on their team, one, he's arguably not because Jalen Brunson. Also, Mikal Bridges and OG Anunoby both shoot phenomenally from the corner three anyway, where it's this thing of, okay, it sucks. Don't get me wrong. It would have been cool to see the Nova Knicks. That would have just felt nice. It would have been an interesting vibe, and the lineup would have worked pretty successfully if you had Mitchell Robinson out there because he's a true big, which that lineup obviously lacks height. But, again, Josh Hart exists, though. But, honestly, it's this thing where we really can't be upset about losing Divincenzo that much because as great as he was, it's also just someone we loved so much. And it's like, I'm looking at my Nova Knicks shirt that I don't know what to do with it now, but Divincenzo's great. Don't get me wrong. Towns is better. Towns fits the team better. We're seeing Jalen Brunson and Karl Anthony Towns have potential to have the best pick and roll in basketball. Pick and rolls might be the most popular thing in the NBA. Or maybe not boxing out, but that's a different gripe I have. But no, honestly, it's this situation where, look, Towns is great. Divincenzo's great, but he's not Karl Anthony Towns. Trading Julius Randle's not great either, but the man there's a decent chance he would have left in free agency anyway because he wanted way more money than what the Knicks were offering. So it led to the Knicks finding the perfect time to finally acquire a guy that Leon Rose has been hunting for literally since he got this Knicks job. So it's really what that's boiled down to, and Divincenzo's going to do great in Minnesota. I imagine Minnesota will probably try to trade Julius, and a team would definitely bite because he's in a prove-it contract year. If you're really trying to win now and you need as much talent you can get, Julius is someone I could see Minnesota trading because there's a world. I mean, Chris Finch was weird about asking if Randle was going to start. He's like, yeah, with what he's done in the NBA, we'll probably give him the starting job. It's like, dude, he is an all-star, an all-NBA talent. If you don't like his fit, the team's going to have to trade him. And I don't think Chris Finch likes the Julius Randle fit particularly very much with the style of basketball that his team plays. That's not a knock on Julius at all. Julius is one of the most hard-nosed players in the league, and Finch will love that about him. But he liked that spacing for Anthony Edwards, and he liked the full-court defense that the Timberwolves play and what's made them the best defense in modern basketball. It's this weird situation now, essentially, with Minnesota, and that kind of dragged me away. Wow, I can't speak, guys. That dragged me away from the initial topic of Donte Divincenzo. But look, guys, honestly, I'm sad Divincenzo left. You're sad Divincenzo left. It's not the end of the world. Honestly, I think the Knicks are just going to be better off. I think they're going to have a better season than last year. So, yeah, honestly, just take it and deal with it. I mean, Towns put up 22 points per game last year with 8 rebounds, 2 things that were diminished by the existence of Rudy Gobert, and I think will both go up on the Knicks. I understand also the points came from him really becoming a second option to Edwards, which makes sense. Edwards is better. But still, 41% from 3. The best well-rounded 3-level scorer of all centers in basketball. He's going to help this team win. The 5-out with the Knicks is going to be really good when you have 2 of the best defenders on the court at the same time. With Towns and Brunson, it covers for things. Also, Brunson's a very fine defender. He's great for someone who's his size and his position. But Guys, let me know what you think down below. Like this video, turn on post notifications. Have a great day. Let's go watch some Knicks basketball soon. Go Knicks.